This live stream is for entertainment and information purposes only. Do not copy our trades, as we are just trading to have fun. Many of our trades could already be closed before you even see us opening the trade on YouTube due to the delay of the stream, and we trade offline as well, so you do not get to see the complete picture. We make no claims of profitability. We are not licensed professionals, and we are not providing any investment or trading advice. Greater than 90% of all traders lose money, and we are not responsible or liable for any of your trading decisions or losses. Please trade on demo only and consult a licensed professional. Please read and understand CFTC Rule 4.41. Let's get to the charts and trade safe today. Good evening, guys. We're live for our stream, co-stream Monday night. It's Futures Floor with Joker Trades.
Good evening, everyone.
Hope
you guys had a wonderful day.
I'm live here on Futures Floor TV. Joker Trades is or will be live very soon on Joker Trades. What is your channel? It's The Joker Trades or Joker Trades?
It's The Joker Trades.
So check us both out. I'm just going to do a quick sound check, guys, to make sure that sound is coming through here. Give me a half a second, bear with me, and then we'll get to the...
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind Futures Floor here. Good evening. I'm saying good morning. I apologize. Good evening. Got a bunch of stuff going wrong all day today. Of course, it's going to continue in the evening. Why wouldn't it, right?
Well,
how you doing, Futures Floor? I hope everything is all right on your end. I hope you're not having any technical difficulties.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I had a good day today. I'm happy. I mean, my numbers were all green, but I mismanaged a lot of my trades. So I don't know. Is that a good day? Is that a bad day? But either way, green is green, right? That's the ultimate goal.
Hey, green is green. That's for sure. That's no question there. But look, it's more important to follow your rules, right? In my opinion, I think if you're following your rules, taking your setup, you're not trading outside of your plan. I think that's much more important than ending a day green versus ending green where you started dollar cost averaging, you started breaking every single rule just to get back into that green position. So, you know, my answer is definitely going to come with some caveats there, but green is green. I'm not going to deny that. But we got to make sure we're following our plan, more importantly, guys.
I agree with you. Absolutely, 100%. I got my risk plan up there in the top corner that I have on my... Okay, no echo. Perfect. Don't need to do that. Yeah, my risk plan. And one of the things is process. Over P&L. Focus on the process. Absolutely, 100%. And yeah, no, that's not what happened. I just mismanaged. It wasn't... Look, the markets were fast. I was getting in late. And then... it was kind of skewing the risk to reward profile of the trades. I was too preoccupied with too many things, I think, this morning. I was just looking too many places. I have to streamline. But yeah, no, absolutely 100%. That is one of my main rules. Process over P&L. Don't focus on the balance. Don't focus on, don't make bad decisions based on anything else except for following your process 100%. Whatever the market gives you, the market gives you. I mean, if it gives you a red day, but you followed your process, that's a good day.
It right there.
You know, my wife.
That's it right there.
My wife asks me sometimes. She goes, "How was your day?" I tell her, "Well, depends. You're asking. You want to know if I made money." My answer is going to be, "I'm going to say it was a good day because I followed the process, but I lost money today." So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It was a good day because I followed the plan.
We can't focus on the money, right? I think for every new trader starting out, if you're putting your primary focus on the money and getting those payouts, it's going to be very difficult to find success in this game. And look, both of us married. Obviously, our wives are going to breathe down our back, you know, about what's going on with our savings. Are we going broke? But look, it's not an easy game. This is trading is it can be very rewarding, but it's a very, very difficult game to master. It's a very difficult process to master. Forget master. Just get it even a little bit right, right? I mean, let's be honest. So take your time, guys, right? Follow the process, figure out a strategy, and don't focus on the money, right? Because the focusing on the money is going to be one of your biggest downfalls, in my opinion. Not a financial advisor, you guys. Neither is Futures Floor. We're just here for entertainment purposes. Maybe get a good laugh out of this.
Absolutely.
Try to figure out the market, right? Futures.
Absolutely.
We're
Standard
not,
disclaimer: we're not financial advisors. Do not copy our trades. We're only trading to have fun. And consult a licensed professional. Trading and the decisions you make are your own. You're liable and responsible for your own losses. You shouldn't be following what we do. You have to make everything you do your own.
Now that guy sounded like a robot, huh?
Okay,
Hey, Futures.
Yeah, I got it done, Pat.
I could tell. But off topic for one thing, and I don't know if we can do it on the fly. Maybe we can do it moving forward. The only thing I noticed is my camera's flipped. I'm looking at the wall. But then again, we're talking to each other on your camera. You know what I mean?
You're right. You know what? Okay, hold on. I gotta set that up. So take over and give me a few seconds to work on that.
Really it's not a big deal.
No. Well, I'll fix it. While we talk, look, I can multitask. I tried to get into a trade here. Actually, I had an entry at 83. I put in a bid at, but I think it was 80, but I didn't get filled, and then it went up about 7 points. So
you were looking for a long.
I was looking for a long. I tried to take the first trade of the day, but didn't work out. Oh, Woodchip, what's out? What's up, Woodchip?
Hey, what's up, Woodchip?
Give me a second. Let me work on the cameras here. I gotta do some fancy footwork here with the cameras.
You're popular, Futures. I'm over here. I think I'm watching myself. You got 5 people over here in the chat already. I love it.
Yeah, no, popular is a stretch.
No, it's.
But you know what? This is. I think co-streams are not only are they fun to do, but I think they're valuable for the people that watch the co-stream, because you get to, especially here, you're going to get 2 completely different perspectives. I don't trade even close to how Joker trades. He follows what seems to be an ICT style doctrine, and I'm very short-term scalp oriented. I mean, basically the 1 minute chart is my high time frame. I don't really look too far back, and I just try to grab momentum. Context is important, of course. Sometimes I don't use context enough. Context is important, but yeah, I'm a very short-term scalper, and you know what? I think I could learn from Joker.
Hey, look, I honestly think that we can learn from each other, and not only from each other, but I'm learning daily just watching some of the other streamers out there, and just constantly following some of the old school guys that are out there, watching their Instagram pages and some of their posts, and just trying to better myself in this crazy game that we're playing here. Because look, I want to say that figuring out trading is not as difficult as figuring out yourself. Mastering your emotional control, your discipline, right? The setups, there's a whole bunch of them out there. But if you can't figure out how to keep yourself in check, there's no winning. That's where I fail every single time, guys. It's when I go on tilt, right? Or I start revenge trading, or it's one of those. It's gonna be one of those that's gonna put me into a bad position, right? Yeah. Not red, just a really bad position.
But you know what? You caught on very quickly, because it took me a long time to realize how important psychology was. Hey, Coach Fred, nice to see you. Hey, Coach Fred, you got points. You got chips. Yeah, it took me quite a while to realize how important psychology was with trading. For me in the beginning, it was just all about it It was all about the setups. And I remember when
Hey, what's up, Coach Fred?
I
Let me. I might as well just hang out in your live stream over here and just hang out with the people coming in, chatting here.
I remember when my boys were learning to trade, and they were just starting out, and I was telling them, you know, the trading theory that you're trying to learn is great, but psychology is going to play 80% of a role. And I was saying to myself, they're going to look at me like, you know when you talk to a dog and he doesn't understand and they turn their head sideways trying to figure out what you're saying? Because in the beginning, when you don't have experience, you really don't realize how much your psychology is, how much what's between your ears is going to play a role in your success. Which is why so many people say, you know what, they can give a successful system to the whole world. And number one, most people aren't going to follow it. And even the people that do follow it, they're going to struggle with it. So,
well, it's not that if you're following it to the T, you'll find success. The problem is that the psychological part of it is not included in what they're putting out there, in the information that's out there, right? The psychological part of it is something that you got to work through on your own. And we're all different. We're unique individuals, and some will never master it. Let's be honest. So that's why so many fail, with trading. That's one of the is it not out there, futures, right? You look at the statistics. I forget what the actual numbers are, but out of 1,000 traders, I think maybe 10% even get close, 1% end up making it, right? And then out of that 1%, you have a fraction of that actually becomes successful.
Yeah, I think that's around where the numbers are at. Yep. Let me see if I can catch you here. Perfect. Okay.
Are you still working on the camera thing?
I just started. Again, bear with me, guys.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't even worry about it.
No, it's gonna go fast. It's gonna go fast. Look at that. I switched you around. Just drop one on top of the other. It's not gonna be the prettiest adjustment, but there we go.
On the fly. Look at that, guys.
Yeah, under pressure.
Made it happen though. You made it happen.
The only thing I gotta now bring in is the chat so I can see what people are chatting about. The chat's going to cover the cameras for a second. I will move it as fast as I can. There we go. It occupies that space. How was your day, guys? Coach Fred wants to know how your day was. Like I said, my day was green. I did follow my process. It wasn't that I didn't follow my process. I just, I don't know, maybe the wrong word is not mismanaged my trades. I just wasn't able to get the executions that I wanted. You know, when they say slippage and commissions are going to hurt your results, where today slippage really hurt my results quite a bit. And I was struggling with that, and I was bailing out of the trades quickly. Oh no, it's true. I forgot to, green is green. Yeah, I was kind of saying that also. You know what? I'm lucky that I ended up green for the day because of how poorly I was executing. But yeah, Joker, also, I forgot to tell you what the big mistake I did today is. I made a decision. I said to myself, I got to try and make $1,000. I put money into it. I said, I got to try and make $1,000 per account that I trade. Before it was just take the trades, what the market gives you. And on the weekend, I set myself like a financial goal on the accounts. And that just completely screwed with my head. You can't do that. You can't demand that the markets pay you. Yeah, you can't tell the markets to pay you a certain amount. That's ridiculous. So
yeah, I try not to do that.
Yeah, no, that threw me off balance completely today. Tomorrow will be a new day. I'm not, you know what? I just enter my trades, take partials where I take partials, and that's it. I missed a good trade there. Shit, it's too bad. My bid
was a good long. That would have been a decent long right there.
Well, my bid was at 80. I would have taken a piece out at 87, 88, and I would have taken the other piece out at 95. But it went up to at least 05, 06.
405, 407, yeah, something like that.
Okay, we wait for the next one. You know what? We had the gap fill. Well, I know. Sorry, it wasn't a gap fill. I take it back. I'm talking from the 5 o'clock close, but regardless, we traded lower from the open. And I look for that trade almost every evening to go back to the previous day's close. It's the same day's close, the 5 o'clock close. It seems to be a consistent.
Just putting in a password really quick, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, I can see it. It's XV1.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm checking on my take profit accounts. So I've got a couple of them that should be going into pro status.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not registering the trading days. Maybe because it's the evening. Maybe take profit resets it in the morning. I'm not sure.
I'm curious if you're going to have to fill out those same agreements. Let me know that I had to fill out today with Topstep. I'm wondering if that's going to be industry wide now with all the prop firms. That's a problem. That's a little worrisome.
Actually, yeah, you mentioned that. Let's go into a little bit in detail about those apps and what they're doing here, futures. What kind of changes is Topstep making?
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't Topstep. It was the CME agreement. And again, I was doing it hastily. I was running through it, and I only saw that one paragraph. But by coincidence, that paragraph that I saw kind of alluded to the fact that once you indicate you are a professional, you need to indicate you're a professional across all platforms, all companies, all prop firms. So if you're trading with Thinkorswim or Apex or Interactive Brokers, wherever you're bringing in data, you can't get $7 data anymore. You're going to have to indicate that you're a professional everywhere. And remember, I'm caveating that with the fact that I saw it hastily. I read it quickly. I didn't take a screenshot, and there wasn't a button that I could download the agreement. That was pretty sad. There should have been.
Oh, so this wasn't through Topstep. This was the CME agreement.
No, but I was logging on to. I'm logging on to an existing Topstep account, and I had to sign it today. Because you signed the
okay, so it is through Topstep. Okay.
You sign through Topstep. You signed the CME agreement the first time you open the account. I think you do that with all firms. You have to do that CME agreement, right? I think. I don't remember. Didn't you have to?
I believe so. I believe so.
Always that the first time when you're new, when you're a complete virgin to a company.
Correct.
Before you get to access the data, you have to sign a CME, a data agreement. And it came up again on an existing account, on an old account. I couldn't log on to my account. It said you have to sign the agreement, but I was scrambling, so I did it quickly, and I just happened to fall on that. Anyways, I'm gonna contact Topstep. I want to, even though it's with. Well,
you should just at least check to see if there's any new changes to the agreement for the most part.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Fred, appreciate you stopping into my channel as well. Nice. Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the sub buttons, like the streams. It helps the algorithm. Stop into my stream if you get a chance. It'll help me out as well. But either way, appreciate you guys stopping in and showing that support to Futures Floor TV. You got these, you got the steady viewers. Listen, it takes time. I'm over here looking at your streams over here, Futures. You got 100+ videos. I'm a baby here. I've got barely 20 videos up. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that.
But
I appreciate the collab more than anything, right? Yeah. That's
what you're talking about, though. No, I only got like 6 videos up. All of them are just live streams.
I meant the live. That's what I meant. The live stream story. I have 0 videos up.
Yeah, no, most of them are. It's all the live streams. Yeah, no, it takes time to. It takes time to get running on YouTube, definitely. You got to get the snowball rolling. Once you get the snowball rolling, there we go. Once you get the snowball rolling, it
starts growing.
I think
it fast.
It starts to go faster. But right now, we just got to. But I enjoy streaming. That's the thing. In the beginning when I started, I was unsure if I would like it. And I thought, okay, it would be interesting to try, but I really like it. I swear to God, Friday comes and I look forward to...
Monday again.
I look forward to getting back on and start streaming. I'm surprised because...
I like the accountability with the streaming.
Yeah. I was using my channel as an accountability partner. For a while, I stopped, but I was using the channel as an accountability partner. But I had a little bit of a period there where I was blowing up too often. So I started to incorporate. I'm lucky. I have my son trading like in a room just behind me. And for a while, I had my other son, twin boys. I had my other son trading right beside me. So I'm lucky in that I can use them as accountability partners. And on Friday, I think it was, yeah, Friday wasn't a bad day. I was down only $400. Really nothing on a 250K account. That's nothing. But
Oh, that's not bad.
yeah, it's
Not at all.
nothing. But I felt I was just completely out of sync. I don't even remember if you were there at the time. I closed, or maybe
Sometimes you gotta walk away from those futures,
I
right?
did.
Like,
I closed down the camera. I went to go see my son, and he said, just close it down, close everything down, because I felt like I was going to do damage. And I did. I closed everything down. I didn't even trade on Sim. That was it. I said, you know what? Goodbye. I'll see you guys again on Monday.
you need a break sometimes. You know,
Yep.
you can definitely get burnt out with with too much screen time, right? I know that, everybody's always saying you got to get that screen time in, you got to get that screen time in. You do, guys. You got to get that screen time in, but everything with balance, right? Too much screen time is also gonna wear you out. So everything with in moderation.
Yeah, that's the thing. One of my boy David comes to me, Dad, you're in front of your screen at 6 in the morning. You're in front of your screen at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m. Then you're streaming in the evening. You're getting in like
Yep.
18 hours of 15 hours to 18 hours a day. Take it easy. It is sometimes it's a little bit
Yeah,
too much.
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
It does a
You
little too much.
you gotta listen to him.
Okay, let's get to trading. Hey, I saw your call there. Hey, I remember one of the last things I heard just before you signed off is you expected the markets to rally strong into the last couple of hours. And if I open up my 15-minute chart, you were right on the money, eh? We not only we took the 270, the London highs, we claimed the previous day's close, Friday's close, and we went higher from that. Go, John.
That was it. That was my target.
Good
That
job.
was and those are the levels that I like to trade off of, right? I want to wait for something, for a high time frame PD array to get taken out, right?
Okay.
Whether it's the lows, sessions liquidity, equal lows, we're coming into an order block, right, on a higher time frame, trading off of a buy model, and we're coming back for a pullback, which is kind of what I wanted to see here. So we just pulled back and we just retested the 19150 low, the Friday's 1600. What is that? Is that 4 p.m. candle, I think? Let me zoom in a little. Well, we're working off of there we go. So that's the 4 p.m. from Friday, the 6th, September 6th, 2024. So right now, that low, higher time frame, hourly time frame, we're retesting it. We're retesting that right shoulder on this move, right? We went all the way up to that 22,634. I can potentially see a start coming up from here. I can see a nice reversal starting potentially. I've got lower targets overall futures.
Yeah, the 18,000 level also is under that. Who knows?
That's
Anything
correct.
can happen.
18,065 area. I want to see us tap into these equal lows on the daily.
Yeah,
It looks like we're gunning for it. So
you're right on that clarification. It's actually I don't draw in my ranges like to the T because for me they're only reference points. But yeah, for me it's starting at 18,060, not 18,000. That was incorrect of me.
yeah, it's the equal lows. I mean, it's the liquidity that's resting here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what setup you're using, whether it's some ICT or ABC or SMTs or whatever, right? Breakouts. At the end of the day, everyone's usually targeting the lows or the highs, right? The question is, which high and which low do we put our stop loss at? Which high and which low do we take our profits, right?
You see,
Like
that's the
that's
question that goes in my head all the time. They say, well, where's the market running to? Where's the easy, where's the liquidity? And at times it's not so obvious. Like right now, let's use right now as an example, just on the 1 minute chart, which is what I have up.
let's
Are
go to
we
1 minute.
are we gonna run the highs, the evening session highs, which I haven't marked in yet, or are we gonna run the lows? We're kind of midpoint right now, you know. So for me, my analysis tells me, well, what am I looking at? I'm seeing we broke below VWAP. Like Topstep says, anything can happen, but right now that's enough to make me say my bias is potentially short. But then I go back to my algo, which I'll open up right over here. I didn't, you know what? Hold on. Let me just let me set that up. But the algo I know has a short bias right now, and my Topstep charts are also very soon going to turn to a short bias. So at that point, when I have triple short bias on the momentum indicators that I use, that's what I call what I steal from Lance Brightstein. I don't know if you know him, but he says,
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
he's from SMB Capital. He says trade the broken slot machines. Trade when everything is aligned. You know, when you have confluence, when everything is showing that it's in agreement, not when you have
Sure.
you know.
So what do you look for? What do you look for to align futures in your trades?
Well, basically, I've created my own momentum indicators, and it's usually based around bands. Often I reference, like I said, the I'm gonna laugh. The 1 minute is my high reference, my high time frame, because I use Renko bars. You don't see them on the charts. I don't put them up. Are you familiar with Renko bars?
I'm not.
Okay, there are bars that are created just based on price. There's no time element in them. So if we stay in a range, well, for me it's 7 points. If we stay in a 7-point range for an hour on a 1 minute chart, you're going to have 60 bars. On a Renko chart, you're only going to have 1 bar because price hasn't moved enough. So believe it or not, that's actually my main chart, and it's not on the screen because I know it's not popular, so I don't really put it up on the screen.
Renko bars show wicks.
No, Renko bars don't show wicks. There are Renko bars that do show wicks.
Well, I'm just looking. So we have Renko bars here on TradingView. Let's go ahead and pull them up here. Let's see what they look like.
There's something called Ninja Renko, which does show wicks, but in general, yeah, the Renko bars on
So there's a couple. It's got a couple of I'm not sure what the wicks are on
Really? It
these
shows the
candles, but
wicks?
there's only a few candles that come up with wicks.
Renkos aren't supposed to show wicks, actually. Maybe you have an option to choose or not to choose.
Let's see. I'm in the Hiking Ashi bars, Renko bars. Yeah, it's the Renko. I'm on the Renko.
Duplicate new
Interesting.
tab.
So I've never pulled up the Renko bars before. What I do use quite often actually is I use the line chart.
Okay.
I'll just eliminate I'll eliminate the wicks for the most part from my candles. But the Renko's interesting because the Renko's gives you, it's even on the 5 minute, it's a different.
I'm laughing.
I'm trying to understand it here. It's just it skips.
No, it's I think it's an acquired taste. My friend James laughs at me and he calls them Mickey Mouse charts, but you know what? It's something that I got accustomed to using. And
Hey, I wouldn't call them that. They're here, right? They're TradingView has them as an option to use. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gotta mean something, right?
But
But yeah, this is it's looking like a completely different chart to me. I mean, it's interesting, right? I'm trying to kind of just play it out, you know, equal lows. We just closed below. We just came back and retested here. The Renko bars seem to be very aligned.
they're very good at showing support resistance, but you don't get the exact price.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
you get like depending on the size of the Renko bar you're using, you get to see an area where buyers and sellers are, or not buyers and sellers, where either buyers or sellers are coming in, and stopping the market from going further. I get a clearer view for my personal taste than I do with the wicks, because the wicks, you know, they're all over the place, and like ICT says, the wicks do the damage. I think it's him. The wicks do the damage, but the bodies tell the story, right? Isn't that what he?
That's
Is it
correct.
him that is it him that says that? Yeah.
The wicks do the damage, and the body tells a story. And
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, I really do, because the wicks are, especially on NQ, guys, they're dangerous. Whew. The wicks on NQ are something else
If I
at
trade off
times.
if I trade off the 1 minute chart, I get wicked out a lot more often than if I trade off the Renkos. Because for the Renko, I need a full bar to form before it takes me out. So if that bar doesn't form, in the meantime, the wicks are doing the damage on the 1 minute chart. But if I'm not looking at it, I don't have another candle forming. It like doesn't even exist on the Renko chart yet until the price stretches out. I don't know if
So
you
it
know
does change. I'm changing the time frame as well on the Renko charts now. So it's definitely giving you different, completely different chart here. Okay, so the 1 minute Renko, 15-second. A little bit more data here.
I want to get back to Coach Fred. Coach Fred, you were asking how it's going with my boys. Objectively, even though they're my boys, I think it's going fantastic with them. I mean, you know, their equity curve isn't straight up. Certainly they're having their challenges, but I'm very impressed with the progress they've made and with how well they're doing. Alex started to dip his toes into scalping a little shorter time frames, you know, shorter term trades like I was. He picked it up very quickly. Took him, I'd say 2 weeks to pick it up and run with it, make it his own. And David is an ICT master. He puts in the work, he journals, he prints out his charts every day. And I'm not teaching them, they're teaching themselves. Alex, I gave it, like I said, for the scalping, yeah, certainly I gave him some direction. But yeah, no, they understand that they got to run with it and make it their own.
It's an individual journey,
It is.
whether they're your kids or not. They're gonna make their own mistakes. They're gonna make their own. They're gonna take their own path, and that's just how it goes. That's the reality of trading.
But you know what? Having a mentor, having someone who can just like give you a little tap on the shoulder and say, you know, you're steering, you're veering off course a little bit. And I think I remember you were also mentioning your brother, and I wanted to bring that up with you and ask you if you found that him helping you out in the beginning gave you a bit of a boost, you know, rather than if you just would have done it on your own. Like if you had just decided, hey, I'm going to try out this trading thing, and you didn't have someone to kind of point you in the right direction, if you know what I mean.
100%. I mean, there's no question there, because, and even to date, right? Because he's tough on me. He gets upset with me if I start breaking rules. He start cursing me out. I'm not talking to you for a week. You know, I'm never trading with you again. You know, you don't know how many times I've heard this. So you can't even follow simple. Anyway, it is what it is. But it's helped me significantly, right? Because, and it's not just him, but a couple of buddies as well. They've been doing it for 4 or 5 years now. You know, I'm barely 13 months, right? I think we're gonna crack it tomorrow. So, you know, being as new as I am to the markets, and having my brother and a couple of friends breathing down my back, you know, look, it helps. It helps because I don't want to let them down, right? I don't want to keep on repeating the same mistakes, keep on failing, you know, these evaluation accounts, blowing funded accounts, you know, because I'm going on tilt, right? Because I'm moving my stop loss, right? It's always the same 2 or 3 things that make me blow out, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. I also wanted to
Go ahead.
know. Continue what you're saying, but yeah, that's one thing I wanted to explore with you is also what weaknesses you have. But I do want to say something even more important, guys. There's 10, 11, 12, 13 people in my room over here. If you guys can go over to the Joker Trades and hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, it would be greatly appreciated. Coach Fred, Joker, your brothers are trading also. Yeah, Joker's brothers are trading, and me and my sons are trading. So yeah,
I
guys.
just have one brother. I have one brother, and it's just him and I, and then some buddies of mine
Oh,
as
okay.
well.
Oh. So who do I see in your room? What are those names that I see? I see there's the guy Crispy. Crispy comes up.
Crispy's a friend of mine.
Okay.
He's even newer than I am actually. So
Oh, no kidding.
Crispy, yeah. So Crispy just he's learning, right? He's learning. He's following he's following certain leads. We won't be specific here. But he does listen to my brother. He'll listen to my analysis and what I have to say for the most part. And he's doing really well, right?
Okay.
He recovered. He had a couple of really good trades, but he's got about 12 funded accounts that he definitely wouldn't have had without the help of some more experienced traders.
No kidding. Excellent. Good job.
And now I respect that he's able to stay disciplined enough um to stick with 1 and 2 micros on those accounts. And he's got all of them up. I think he had like a $500 day today across the board. So I think that
Wow.
was like a $6,000 day
So you guys.
overall.
Oh, he's trade copying.
He is trade copying. He trade copies 12 funded accounts.
No kidding. Who's he with? If you don't mind me asking, you know.
Apex. He's using Apex.
Okay.
So he's gonna end up getting more payouts than I'm gonna end up getting quicker. That's for sure. Yeah, and
But
look, that's because he doesn't have the scar tissue, right? And we can talk about that as well, right? Let's talk about scar tissue. Let's talk about the mistakes you make on your path, trying to get to the funded stage, and how much more difficult is it for you to press the button and take a trade after blowing up X amount of accounts, right?
mm,
How much harder is it to get back into the markets and trade the same way you were trading after a couple of weeks of green and then just having a couple of blowouts, right? Like, so that's something that he hasn't experienced yet, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays disciplined enough to never experience that. But look, let's be honest. If you're trading off of exclusively off of luck, sometimes it runs out.
yeah.
It
No,
runs
no.
out. So you got to have that setup. You got to have that discipline. You got to have that stop loss, and you got to be able to walk away red. It's one of my biggest problems. You were asking earlier.
Is it? Yeah. Is it? Yeah. That's mine also.
My biggest problem is walking away and having a red day. Right? I think that. Yep.
Yeah, accepting a red day.
And that's it. It's just the fact that I've got some red on my screen, and I'm like, let's take another trade. Now I'm even more red. We can get it back. Now we're down 600, and then you don't stop, and the next step is blowout. So you got to know when to walk away.
Yeah.
You got to know when to walk away. It's critical. I got to get better at those red days, right? I need more red days. However crazy that might sound to everyone in the chat, I need more red days. I need to be able to take 2 or 3 trades, couple of micros, and just walk away. Say, all right, trades didn't work out. We're down $100. We're down $200. We'll get it back, over the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's
So
funny.
that's one of my goals.
That's wisdom right there, because that's exactly what I did last week. I had a couple of red days, and I said, you know what, Mikey? Instead of actually trying to turn them green, why don't you close down the computer and accept the red on your screen and come back tomorrow? Because if I don't accept the red on the screen, if I turn it around today and I do it the wrong way, but I turn it around, all I'm going to do is ensure my failure another day. Okay, today I made it a success, but it's pretty much ensuring my failure another day, because what happens is if you get too aggressive trying to turn that day green, like you said, you end up blowing the account. So what
Absolutely.
good is it if I'm down 200 and I do stupid shit? That's what I call it. I do stupid shit and I end up plus 100. But then the next time I do it, I'm down 200 and then I blow the account. Was that $300 difference that I made the day before? Was that better? And you know what? That's another thing I'm going to bring up. One of the things that I was working on with Alex was exactly that. I would tell him, you know what? Close it down or take a walk when I kind of thought maybe he's going on tilt. Close it down or take a walk and then do it. Do it one time and tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel tomorrow. Do you think it was a mistake that you did it? Tomorrow you're going to say, I should have tried to turn my day green, or are you going to say, you know what? That was the right thing to do. And yeah, it's always the right thing to do. You know, it's one.
I need to get better at that. So you'll see that there's days now that I just won't take trades. And I'm taping. I've got a phenomenal tape, but I just can't hit that button. I just end up putting myself in that mental state where I end up having a fear of losing even 30, 40, 60 bucks, right? Because I don't trade with minis. I usually trade with between 1 and 3 micros. That's usually my sweet spot on the MNQ. But yeah, you gotta learn to walk away, guys. You gotta learn to walk away from those days that you're just not reading the market correctly. You're gonna have that. It's gonna happen, right? You're gonna have those days where you feel like Neo in the Matrix, right? And you're just, oh my God, like everything is just working, right? And then you're gonna have days where it's just doing the complete opposite. So you gotta know when to continue trading when those days that you're reading that market clean and the price action is coming in, the way you're identifying it, take those trades. Don't be scared to push the button. And when it's not, don't be scared to get stopped out. Take that stop loss.
But I don't think it's so
limited.
I don't think it's so bad if you're red and you continue trading, as long as you're trading your rules and trading your setups. You're not increasing your size and you're not DCAing. I mean,
Give me 1 second, guys.
As long as you're doing that, there's no problem with continuing to trade. The issue comes in once we start to break our rules. Again, like I said, I have those rules up top over there, risk plan right there. I wish I could freeze it. I can't, but I have it here on my paper also. But as long as I follow all those rules that are right there in the top left corner on my risk plan, I have no issues continuing. Sorry, excuse me.
Continue to trade. Yeah, that's fine.
I have no issues continuing to trade. There's no problem with it as long as you're trading according to plan and not oversizing. I took a short at 56.50 just to let you know.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at your. I have your stream open as well.
So my first target on this is going to be 348, 19,348, and then below that it's going to be 19,341. How I get those specific numbers, again, it's from the size of the Renko blocks.
Okay.
And I have stats on that, close to 3,000 trades now, live trades, not back tested trades, not forward tested, actual live trades.
With the Renko bars, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I keep stats on it every day. I update my stats. So right now I know I have a 70% chance of 19,348 hitting before 19,369 hits. Yes, it's a 2-to-1. And the target you can set any target you want, but I know that before 19,369 hits, there's only a 30% chance that 369 will hit before 348 hits. And that's it. That's like as simple as it gets.
And where do you get those numbers from?
Well, it's the size of my Renko boxes. The Renko blocks that I use are 7 points. So this trade went short at 19,355. So
okay.
Once I have one, hold on, we might be getting there. There's the 48. So I want to get out of a one lot. That's the 48 bid, 47.75. So once I have one down bar that had the bar before that was an up bar, I know that a second bar has a 70% chance of forming. Now I have a 50% chance that 19,341 will hit. The odds go down a little bit, obviously, because the farther the move gets extended. But that's it. It's basically, we were talking about Tom Hugard, you know, and I was talking about it with Woodchip also. You know, he was very stats oriented, but his stats were different. His stats would be, you know, like if Monday takes out Friday's high or if Monday takes out Friday's low. But it's basically just working with statistics here and numbers. And, you know, it gives me comfort in knowing when I'm in a trade that I have a 70% chance that a certain level is going to be touched. You know, it gives me a certain level of comfort. But again, I don't always follow my rules, and my exits are just very discretionary. Sometimes I'll take one out, sometimes I'll take two out. When I was doing this with Alex, Woodchip can attest to it, we were going for 40 points. We were going for 6 bars.
And that was my question. So typically so right now that was a 7-point Renko bar. What would
where do I get out?
What's your full exit on something like that exactly?
Yeah, no, I play it by ear. It's fully discretionary, and I need to turn it into a process, but I haven't processed it yet. That's the one place I still give myself flexibility to do what I want. Because they're all profitable. You know what? Let me show you. Let me try and bring up the I have a moment. I'm watching here, but let me try and bring up the profit graph for you. You're going to find it quite interesting, I think. Let me just move it off to a screen here. Watch the trade. Now my stop, because once 48 is hit, now my stop is at 62. Before it was at 69. So my stop is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 6 points above where I entered. And my next profit target is going to be at, what did I say, 41? So that's 15 points.
41, right?
Yeah, so 15 points down for 6 points up. That's not bad. I like that. But let me get that open for you.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. 6 point stop on the NQ for 15 for a 15-point target is great. And if you can keep stops at that tight on the NQ, that's pretty amazing.
I think this will fit on the screen. You know what? Let me get out of the trade. See, I get that level of flexibility. Here's the profit graph. Okay, and now I'll answer some questions for it. Let me just close the Discord cam 2. No, not the Discord. It's this one here, the picture-in-picture. Each line you see there is a different profit target. The first line, the lowest line, that makes the least. These are points, by the way. Oh, it's true. You don't get to see the points. These are points. It's not dollars. And this is over, I think, like I said, it's about the last 3,000 trades. So if you were to only go for 7 points, if that was your profit target, that's the lower value right there. Let me move my thing just a little bit. So that one brought in 2,500 points. But if you go for, so that's 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and this is if you have a 42-point profit target. So you guys can see that the farther you reach for, the farther you put your profit target, the more points you make. But not only what's remarkable about this is look at the drawdown. Like I said, this is over 3,000 trades spanning almost a half a year now. Look at the drawdown. This is pretty much from your high water mark over here, 38.29 down to 35.70. So I have a system here that's bringing in, has great edge, has brought in about 6,500 points over the last, let's say, 6 months. And
what's the loss? What's the P&L look like?
From the high, yeah. Well, that's it. That's what you got right there. This is the theoretical. If you were to follow it to a T, if you were to take 7 points. Okay,
I got it.
If you close out at 7 points, you close your trade at 7 points. Let me just move my time here a little. If you close out your trade at 7 points, you're finished with it. This is your P&L line. If you close your trade out at 14 points, this is your P&L line.
This is not, I got it. This is not your trades. These are just your targets.
You got it. This is the theoretical. Okay. How well you follow it.
There's a theoretical target. Got it.
But it's not theoretical on backtesting. It's the trades that I just took. Like the trade that I just
I think you got your 41, right? You just got into your 41.
41.50. There it goes. Yep, the 41 just closed. Yep, there you go.
Nice trade.
Yeah.
Nice short.
So if
Now, are you trading this on a funded account? Or are you trading an eval? What are you trading here?
All of it. I have the evals. Is it up? Oh, it's not up. Yeah, sorry. I thought it was up actually. Let me see if I can copy that. Evals and funded accounts. I have with Apex. I have 6 funded accounts.
Oh, I just meant what were you trading now?
20. Right now, I put it on an eval. Yeah, I don't think I would trade. I wouldn't trade my funded accounts in the evening. The volatility is low. If you can see on the chart there, the volatility, it's showing its 6-point range right now on the 1-minute candles. It's hard to work with that. Just to give you something to compare with, during the day today, we were at 30 points. The average range of the 1-minute candles was 30 points. So to put that in perspective, since I'm using 7-point Renkos.
Yeah, we had some. I mean, we had some pretty big minute candles.
Yeah, in the average 1 minute, I'll get 4 Renko candles. So 4 Renko bars. So volatility was quite high today. Fred, which firms do you guys prefer? I'm an Apex junkie. I trade with Bulenox. I trade with Topstep. I love Topstep. The algo just went long. Let me just put that up. I love Topstep. I love Topstep. I think they're a great firm, but my favorite is Apex, and my least favorite is MFFU. I don't know. I can't seem to do anything with that firm. Every time I trade my MFFU account, I don't do well.
Sorry about that, guys. Just had my brother walking in.
They're all good, and I don't think there's really too many scamming firms out there. Have you heard of any Joker?
So look,
people getting scammed.
Like I said,
if you follow the rules, you get paid.
There are firms that I've heard that people, they shut down. What was that one firm?
Fast Track Trader.
Is it Fast Track? Maybe another one too. There's a few of them that actually, left some people hanging there. So, look, can they rug pull us? I'm sure. That's out of our hands, right? It's always a risk, jumping into these prop firms.
Did you see the numbers Apex is making?
Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts. And it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense, right? I can just do the math on some of these, just the amount of viewers that are watching some of these streamers. I mean, I've got this one streamer that scalps all day long, and his model, he'll get payouts from 5 accounts daily. But he'll blow 10 funded accounts, right? The numbers still make sense. So, I can see how he's still making a ton of money. But now he's got, over 1,000 live viewers daily. And they're all doing the same thing. They're all making money, but they're all blowing a whole ton of accounts.
Is that guy? He calls himself Futures Trader or something like that?
Yes, Future Scalper. I think Future Scalper. I think his name FSP, Future Scalper Pro, something like that. Cool guy. God-fearing man. He talks about God a lot on his stream, which is cool. But he it's not exactly my style. I get it. You're taking advantage of the prop firm industry, and I do not blame him, right? Because when you do the numbers, if you're getting, so first let's go into prop firms, right? I think you meant Joker.
Yeah, because he said Honor's talking about Futures Trader. I think he meant Joker.
Oh, yeah. Just probably a typo. So look,
that's a big typo.
A huge typo, right? But look, the reality is this: when it comes to prop firms, I only use Apex. I've got 20 funded accounts with Apex, and then I have 11 funded accounts with Bulenox.
No kidding.
Yeah. I've got 11 funded accounts with Bulenox.
Have you gotten payments with? Have you got a payout with Bulenox? I'm still.
I've gotten payouts with both. I've gotten
No,
payouts with Apex and with Bulenox.
no problems with Bulenox. They just you
No,
submitted.
they're clean. They're
Yeah.
clean. They're. I think they might be even easier than Apex.
No kidding.
In terms of payouts. Yeah. The only thing with Bulenox is they're not going to pay you, you know, the next day, which comes to the next prop firm that I'm trading now currently. Bulenox is a week, so you submit by the end of the week, and you'll get paid the following Wednesday. But they will pay you like clockwork. So Bulenox is pretty clean. I like how they operate. And then the third prop firm that I use is Take Profit Trader. Now I don't have any affiliate links for Take Profit Trader. I'm sure you've got affiliate links for Apex and for Bulenox, as do I. But Take Profit Trader is a little tough. It's a little tough to get on their affiliate side.
Okay.
They've got some pretty crazy stats. Anyway, either way, because I'm not really looking to get rich from affiliate money here, right? I'm looking to become a better trader. I'd like to be able to copy all my, 31 accounts, now 33, because I do have I have 2 funded accounts now with Take Profit Trader. So I believe I just got my 5th day in. I got a flip day. They're up on my screen now. I just put my 5th flip day on the 2 Take Profit accounts. And then the account that I planned on trading, it's the 3rd Take Profit account that I have. I did end up blowing the one that I had at 1500, over leveraging, just kind of doing dumb stuff with it, the classic. And then I ended up resetting it, so we're back up to like 1300 on this one. I'd like to pass this one as well and get a 3rd funded Take Profit account. Now, what I like about Take Profit is you get day 1 payouts. So if you pass the threshold, so for a 50K, you have a $2,000 drawdown. It's a little tighter than the rest of the firms. So you have a, $2,000 drawdown, $3,000 target, and you only get 6 minis on the 50Ks. But now once you fund them, right? The cool thing with Take Profit, especially with the deal they have going on now, once you fund them, you go straight to funded, right? So once you pass the evaluation stage, you go straight to funded, nothing extra. You don't pay anything else.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. It's like my funded futures, as far as I know. Yeah, there's no activation
correct.
fee.
No activation fee, correct. The the only thing is that the test phase, the evaluation stage, it's expensive, right? You're paying $100 just for a 50K, $110. So you got to take that into consideration. But if you're trading carefully, if you got rules, if you got a system, Take Profit is a great firm, I think, to get some funded accounts with. And once you get funded, once you go to pro, they call it pro. So it would be a Take Funded. I'm sorry, it would be a Take Profit Trader eval, and then you got Take Profit Trader Pro accounts. And then once you go, I believe it's 10 payouts. I think they're very strict with this as well. So once you get 10 consecutive payouts, doesn't matter the size, 10 consecutive payouts with Take Profit, they'll move you to a Take Profit Pro Plus, which is their version of live. Exactly. Yeah. Which I'm okay with. I mean, that's my goal. That's like a milestone right there, right? Futures. Most people are like, oh, I don't want to go funded. I don't want to go live. I want to stay with the prop firms, yada yada, whatever. If I can generate enough interest in the prop firms to tell me, hey, we want to put you live, that's a milestone for me. I'll take that. I'll take that, and I'll trade those accounts proudly. But Take Profit, I think, it can turn into my new favorite if I can start getting some payouts, because you get daily payouts. So once you go to pro, 50K account now is $2,000 drawdown, $2,000 target, right? So anything above that buffer, that $2,000 buffer, you can take out day 1. They'll charge you 20%. They'll take 20% as a fee, but day 1 payouts, right? You're sitting there, you're making $1,000 for the day. You can pull out the $800. So I like that. I think cool concept. Now let's get some payouts, right? So we got 2. Go ahead.
I was saying, I'm surprised that it's 10. I thought it was, shit, I just missed an entry here at 48. Let's see if I can try and grab it. I'm surprised because most firms are at 6. It's most firms seem to be operating at 6 payouts and then they move you to live. That's what I'm seeing everywhere now. All the firms
Well, so
saying they're 6 payouts. That's high.
that
Again,
has a lot to do. Go ahead.
I thought it was CME imposed that 6 because I was finding it odd that they're all saying 6. I got in on my short. I'm slowly chopping off pieces here. Yeah,
Nice.
I thought it was CME inspired that rule with the 6. So I'm happy to hear that at least one firm is allowing you to go 10 deep before they move you to live.
Yeah, I don't know that it's the CME that's enforcing the number. I do know that they are enforcing to start putting people live, right? They don't want, because the goal here is to actually get some liquid in the actual market as well,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
If these prop firms are just sitting here banking and banking
Yep,
and banking, and then there's nothing going into the system, then
that's it.
it's, you know,
Sucking up all the
that's
traders and no liquidity and no fees for them.
correct, exactly. So now that's not going to work for long, right? And we know this. If you have a half a brain, you'll realize that this is not something that they're going to allow for much longer. So they're definitely going to enforce rules that are going to require the firms to put people live quicker. I can see that happening. I'd like to start seeing some payouts, before having to go live, obviously. I wish I got, now this is where I start wishing I got in, 3-4 years ago, at the beginning of the prop firm
Yeah,
game. I'm over here getting started, just barely, wet behind the ears here. 13 months, 4 payouts. And I feel like they're gonna, they're gonna clip our, what.
yeah. It's still a
But
phenomenal opportunity. It's still
it's
though
a great
it's
opportunity.
a great entry, a great way for especially new traders to get involved in trading and not lose a ton of money. Because the old way was you put $5,000 or $10,000 in the account, in a retail account, and then you go explain why you just lost it all because you're inexperienced and
Then we're talking to the big boss, and
yeah.
and she's wondering what's going on over here. What happened
Yeah.
to our savings account?
But Coach Fred, Project X, which is Topstep X, it's the same thing basically. I use it with Topstep, but not with Bulenox. With Bulenox, I am Ninja connected with Rhythmic, not even Tradeovate. But for Apex, I've converted all my account. Well, yeah, I've converted all. Not converted. I think converted is the wrong word. But as my Rhythmic accounts went by the wayside, I only get now Ninja with Tradeovate. But I love the. I find the Project X platform much better than Ninja. My own personal preference, but I prefer it. One of the things I like about Project X, if I'm looking at the quotes, the bid and ask will change, I don't know, sometimes when the markets are active, 20 times a second. And if I watch Ninja carefully, 3, 4 it seems, it doesn't seem to update as often. And latency issues. Was it you, Joker, you were talking about latency today, or was it OFT, Only Futures Trader? Someone was mentioning latency. I was getting latency with Ninja today. What does that mean? That means I would enter in an order and I wasn't getting the price that was on the charts. I was getting different prices.
Or it just it doesn't appear. Like so not yesterday, but I think it was maybe last week sometime. I would enter a position and it would not put my position on the chart for a good 6-7 seconds. And then when it took my position, it put it in, when it decided to populate it onto the chart. And it was definitely, depending on the price action, there was some crazy slippage on that one.
I didn't pay attention to what you're using actually. Which there, let me open this full screen. What do you got there? You have
What do I trade on?
That's what I'm looking right now. That's TradingView, or that's
I trade on TradingView. I like TradingView. I like TradingView for charting the best. I think it has some of the best charting features. It's just super clean.
okay.
The trading with Apex or any of the ones that I have linked to Tradeovate here, which I think the only other one is Take Profit Trader. The Bulenox I trade on my Ninja Trader, which is what you see in the top left corner here. So that's where I'll trade my Bulenox, and the big center chart is my TradingView chart. Now let's see, do we have any setup coming in? They call these a slow markets for a reason, right? I feel like you want to trade these, you got to stick to the lower time frame.
My mic was off. You didn't. I said, I'm on your page, Joker. Who's that guy just above you in the white sweater? He looks familiar.
Yeah, I know the streams are coming out pretty good. It's pretty clean.
Yeah.
I like the dual camera setup here. It's working wonderful. All right, how are you doing so far with the evening session trades? You got to be up on those trades.
I'm surprised. Yeah, give me a second. Let me just copy. Okay, I'm gonna go dark here for a second. No, can I go dark? No, I can't go dark. Give me just a. I'm gonna have to switch where you're not gonna be on the stream for a sec, but let me, because I want to copy something. I want to copy and paste from OBS from one. What do we call it? From one scene to another. So I'm gonna pull in my account data. Is that what it's called? The account data page?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So
Give
me just
ahead.
a second. Let me click on that. Let me grab the account data page. Let me just find it. I know it's here somewhere. Nope, not on that one. Not on that one. Okay, you know what? Forget it. Let's just
about 1 minute.
Do you see what happens? Oh, my God, that's great. Oh, you closed it. I thought it was me switching. Let me bring it in. Application, window capture. Let's call it account data. Okay. Select the window to capture. Ninja Trader account data. There's only one choice. Does it work? No, it's not working. Okay. Why is it not working? What is it with OBS? Why do they have to make everything so difficult?
You having a hard time?
Well, it's pulling up a black screen here. I'm doing account data, and I'm into the properties. Ninja Trader, account data, accounts. There's only one. Sometimes there's two of them. But I'm only seeing one, and it's not coming up.
Switch it to something else, and then go to. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because all I'm seeing is a black screen on it as well.
Yeah, no, it's not coming through. Okay, forget it.
Not a big deal. These are minor things that you figure out over time.
Yeah, no, it's this whole. Your camera is off, right?
Hey, what's up, Farouk?
You know that, Joker?
Doing a little evening co-stream. Yeah, I have it down for a second. Futures.
Okay.
I just have a couple of things I'm doing over here, typing in a few things.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so let me do display capture. And what are we going to call it? We'll call it account data.
Hey, Farouk, don't forget to stop off
Okay.
at Futures Floor TV
Capture
and
method automatic.
hit that sub and like buttons, buddy.
Samsung.
Appreciate you stopping in.
Okay, there we go. Give me a, what do they call that? There we go. I'm gonna do it crude. It's not gonna be the prettiest, but you guys will get the idea. It'll be good enough. It'll be good enough until I fix it a little, make it a little bit better. There we go. Bring that in over there. Everybody likes to see the account data, right? That's the whole fun. So there we go. I put it in on top. So what do we got? With my Apex account up 145, I took 2 5 lots. So that's $10 a point. So basically I'm up 14 points because it was $10 a point. Those 2 trades brought me in 14 points total. And Sim 101, that's the algo on the bottom. It took 2 trades, I think. Let me see. Shorted at 63, covered at 62, made no money, and then went long at 46 and 53. And that's it. Took 2 trades. So that one's about 7 points. Take away commissions. I only do it on a 1 lot on a micro just to track it. I still don't trade this one. I take the trades on my evaluation account sometimes. It's quite accurate, the algo over by the end of the day. But I'm still not keeping thorough statistics on it. I still don't have thorough statistics to give anybody on the reflux algo.
Are you taking it every single time you get the indicator?
Nah, it's very discretionary. I probably shouldn't even be taking it. Really, I should just be focusing on my top step system, which is the Renko charts. Problem is, I like to, what's the word? Not a market. I like the markets. I like the challenge of the markets, the theory of the market. So I like trying new things. Like right now, my newest toy, which I'm getting flack from David, is I'm putting up trend lines and I'm trying to figure out how to trade with trend lines, and it's taking away my attention from really what I should be doing. But it's something that it's a skill that I want to learn anyways. It's a skill that I want to add to my arsenal. So I'm not sure if I should drop it. Maybe I should just do it on the weekend with market replay, or I think it's called playback in NinjaTrader. Maybe put it up to 10 times speed so it can go faster. But I think Tori Trades is the one that she uses trend lines, and there's another guy also called Matt Diamond. They seem to be having success with it. Hey, way to go. Way to go, Coach Fred.
Excuse me. Oh, here we go, guys. We're back.
But I do think there's potential with the trend lines.
They have their place.
Listen, let me interrupt you. There's one thing I taught my kids. I was saying, I called it, I'm going to look at the camera. I called it framing a trade. And I would say when you enter a trade, think of it like it's in a box. And the top line, the top part of the box is your take profit. The bottom is your stop loss. The closer you can get to the stop loss when you enter, the better your trade is, because now it's a 5-to-1 or a 6-to-1 or a 7-to-1. Let me just show you, just theoretically, or hypothetically. Hypothetically, give that to me. Hypothetically, if I was going to enter in a short on the break of the low of this candle, that's a small candle, right? This one's a pretty small candle, let's say, compared to this candle here. So the probability of,
let me full screen you here.
The probability of if I were to go short on the break of this candle right here, like this is what I'm saying. Let's say this is my frame right around that candle there. If I'm going to go short on the break of that low, the probability of me hitting 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 is much greater than if I were to go long on this candle here on the break of the high. Because if I'm going to go, oh, it's true. Let me add to that, and I'm going to put my stop at the other end. So if I'm entering on the break of the high over here and putting my stop over here, the probability of me getting 1-to-1, or no, 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 is a lot lower than me entering on a candle that's this size, putting my stop at the top and getting 1 to, like I already got, but this one probably already ran.
The candle, right?
This one already ran 2-to-1 because the candle was small. So I think you can use trend lines if you enter in only on the premium entries where you have a candle that you're going to enter in on. Let's say a retest. You break the trend line, you retest it, and the candle that has your continuation move, if it's a small candle and you put your stop just under it, a one candle stop, I think you're golden. You just got to have the, what would you call it? The discipline to wait just for those and not take the ones that, that break with momentum.
I mean, look, trend lines can be tricky, right? So for example, right here, we're on the 1 hour time frame. You run a trend line from the high down to the lows over here where we 1 second. So, until we started right where we started shifting momentum, right? So probably you take the Friday, the 21st of February,
You said on the 1 hour?
and I'm on the hourly, yeah.
Okay, let me switch
And you
over.
just and you just follow that trend line, right? And if you look at my stream, I have it marked out. That would make it easier for you. I have yours open as well. I don't know if you have enough screens, but
Go ahead.
you have a trend, a bearish trend that we maintained here. And now we broke it, right? And down here, what you're thinking is maybe a potential retest of the trend line to then take it back up. Now, a retest of the trend line, right? A retest of the trend line after breaking structure here, especially higher time frame, is probably gonna it's probably gonna bounce, right? And then it's gonna simply pull back to give you the entry after the break of structure. But now this is gonna be the second leg down. This will be the second stage. So we dropped down all the way from February 18th, that area, and we came to and we made the low here on March 11th. Okay. And then we pulled up. If you run a Fibonacci, we pull up into the 38%, right? Between the 38 and the 50% is kind of where I want to see the first move happen. So maybe even another pull up, right? Because we're looking at a daily. Maybe one more up, a couple more days. So we could be making some new highs here. And then from the 50%, make our way down to complete this leg. Right? And it should be symmetrical, about the same size as that first drop. So if we come down, it's going to be fast too. We'll come down pretty fast within a couple of days, bounce off that previous trend line, and then maybe come up to hit that 78%. Maybe the 618. 618 is my favorite on the Fibonacci. Right? And we start lining up to some bearish breakers that we created here on the way down. From here, I'd like to see a farther, much lower price action. And that has nothing to do with anyone moving markets or news or anything. This has to do with an algorithm that once it's playing out on a higher time frame, it's going to play out. It's just a matter of, how high up is it going to go? How much liquidity does it need before making its move? And it has the range to play with, right? Like you have a dealing range. It can come all the way up to the 88%. And trade off of this area, right? But so trend lines, to me, they have their place, but it's like, which trend line do you use, right?
Exactly.
Are we using this trend line now, or are we gonna start, shifting and saying, all right, now we also had a bullish trend line here, right? Like coming from this low up here to these highs, now we just broke it. So now we just broke down below that trend line with a market structure shift, right? This body closed below all of this liquidity. What I think we're doing is higher time frame, we're creating a buy model, right? Like this is going into a buy model to come and target into the 618 to the 70% in this range.
You mind if I ask you, can you explain what a buy model is? Because I'm not an ICT scholar, and I know you bring it up, the buy model, Selma. You bring it up quite often, and I'm curious. Can you?
Well, I don't know if it's an ICT thing. What I mean when I say a buy model or a sell model, I just mean a break of structure, right? I just mean when we shift and we go so higher time frame, even higher time frame, we're going into a sell model, right? So we took out highs, we displaced through the lows, right? Sitting right here back on January 13th.
Okay.
And we close below them. Once we start closing below them, now we start creating bearish, market structure. So the market is now telling us with this close of the February 27th candle that we want to start trading lower. So this move was a given. Now, in order for the model to complete, now this is my model, right? So you have ICT's model, which is the 2022 model, which is I think what you were thinking I was referring to, right? I don't know if he has a sell model or a buy model that he refers to, but his 2022 model is basically a liquidity sweep, right? Of a high time frame PD array, equal highs, but a level that is going to satisfy the algorithm, right? Because he's an algorithmic trader. He's definitely someone that believes heavily in the computer program.
Yeah.
And once you have the liquidity sweep, right, and then you have the consolidation that happens, right? Because this is all the consolidation here. And then you have a manipulation that comes back up that sweeps the liquidity. And then you have the distribution, right? I think that's just power of 3. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So once you have the consolidation, in the consolidation, you're going to make these lows here, right? And you're going to have some potential market structure shift fake outs, right? Where you're like, oh, we're potentially going to be closing below. But then it doesn't, like by a couple of ticks, like this body closes above. So there's no real market structure shift here yet until this candle. Once this candle closes below all of this liquidity here, right? Now, in order for this liquidity, for this to be a valid market structure shift as well, and I don't think this is something that ICT necessarily uses, but what I've noticed, in order for you to get a valid market structure shift, what you're going to want is these swing points here, because this is your market structure shift right here.
Okay.
When we close below this level, right? But what you want to happen is the high of this low, right? This swing high, you want to start closing above it. So you want to confirm, right? Right here, you got this low. So these are the two lows that are relevant to me. Let me just go to my brush and take off my magnet. So these are the 2 lows right here that are relevant to me. And what I'm looking for is for this manipulation, this close above, which is a fake out. These are fake outs telling you that we're going to go long. This is a fake out that we're going to go long. Because all this is a close above, brush is still active, all of this liquidity that we now have a confirmed close above the swing high, okay? So this is what I'm looking for now. Once we have this created and then we displace through, I'm looking for a fair value gap, which is an ICT thing, right? Which you get it right here with this candle right here. Your gap is right here, right?
Yeah.
In between those candles. And once I get a gap on the next candle up, you're looking to drop and take it down. Now, this is a daily time frame, right? So if we were swing traders, this would be a beautiful trade, and I would be looking to target the lows right here. Right now, what I target for an exit, even though we hit the complete low, right? We hit the bottom right here. What I'm looking for is this order block, which I believe is an ICT term. To me, what's the order block? It's simply the last down candle before the move up, or the last up candle before the move down.
Yep.
Yeah, so same thing here. Now these connect, right? See how they're connected? So, this is now my protected low here, right? And these are equal lows, which I think we're going for, right? This is my draw on liquidity right now.
I got you.
Now, we have a confirmation that we want to go down, right? But just because we have a confirmation that price action is going to go down and the algorithm is going to push the market down towards lower targets, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have a dealing range, right? There's a dealing range right now that we're trading within. And the algorithm, right? The algorithm can easily manipulate price action on lower time frames when we're trading a higher time frame setup. So, and I'm no ICT pro. I'm not great at explaining his stuff. If anybody really wants to understand ICT stuff, which is the only information that I would reference or suggest anyone interested in learning actually, go to. I'm not saying that everything else doesn't work. I'm not saying breakout doesn't work. I'm not saying, it's just because I'm as Futures mentioned earlier, we trade so different. I'm an algorithmic trader, right? I trade based on the algorithm. I don't believe anyone moves the market, right? I think the algorithm is going to go where it's going to go. And I think that analysts know when the algorithm is going to make a move in one direction or the other. And that's when you have companies buying at the bottom. That's when you have the companies starting to sell off, these big hedge funds, starting to sell off at levels where, they know they're going to take a haircut, but it's still going to put them in the green overall. And they have way too many positions, way too many positions that they need to move. That the only way that that's going to happen is if there's enough people willing to buy when they're willing to sell. So they're not going to be able to sell at the top. It's almost impossible, right? Like it's going to be almost impossible. So, I don't believe that anybody moves the market. I think that sellers are going to put orders in to sell at many different levels, and they're going to put stop orders above that. And the reality is that they may not sell, right? They may not sell exactly where they want to sell. It might keep going up. They might get, are these institutional players getting stopped out? No, probably not, right? If it keeps going up, they're still making money. But if it drops and they can't get enough sell orders picked up at the high, and it just keeps going down, they're going to keep selling, right? And people are going to start picking up as it goes lower and lower and lower. They're going to be like, oh, we're in a sell program. And they're selling off at a loss. But in their head, it's still a win. And they know that. But that's what I really think happens with the market. But, either way, right now, overall, I think I'm looking for some lower targets. I'd like to see us take out the 17.8 area. Maybe retest that, that channel we were talking about, Futures.
Yeah.
And then give us a push back up. And that push back up, I'd like to see it potentially not come up above this shoulder blade, but it could, right? We can retest this new channel here that we're breaking off of. And that's just how channels, I think, work well, right? When you can identify the two and then you can identify a range between them, you can definitely take good trades off of it. And then we'll probably make a new channel, right? We'll start making a new channel at the bottom here. And then you got to identify that channel. And then from here, we might start turning around, start dropping back down. Some more consolidating, right? Because what's going to happen after a big move, Futures? We're going to consolidate. So I think we've got some way lower targets that we're probably going to see in the near future. And I don't think it has anything to do with Trump. I don't think it has anything to do with news or tariffs or anything. I simply think the algorithm is already initiating a sell program. And when it's satisfied down here, it's going to come up. It's going to come back further to satisfy probably pre-COVID prices is what I'm thinking eventually. Right? There's going to be a lot of noise. Like, this is my analysis, and I'll end here because now I'm rambling. But this is kind of my higher time frame analysis. Nope, wrong one. Sorry, guys. This is like a 2-year analysis that and it's playing out, right? So I have not moved it. And right now you can see exactly where we reacted on this analysis.
Mm-hmm.
This was my pivot. This is when I actually did it. It was right around here. It was in the middle of the month. It was just a couple of weeks ago. We came up, and now we're playing around here. I don't think we're going to stop personally. I think we're going to be taking out, and I have it marked. This is part of the analysis. You see where I have it marked along here. It just so happens to line up with that channel that we just made. I'm sorry, Futures?
Oh, no, yeah, I remember you were saying today on your stream, you mark off the blue as your buy zones, I think, and
Correct.
The red as your sell zones, yeah.
I'll move that slightly in just to line up with the channel and to go into my buy zone, right? That's all I just did there. It was just a hair, a smidgen. So, but this is kind of what I'm anticipating, and I have it timed out as well. Now, this is a weekly, I think this was a weekly analysis. So, how is it going to play out? I couldn't tell you exactly, but what I would like to see is a potential fair value gap, as we were discussing earlier, right? We now have a close. We don't have a close below, right? So we do not have a close below here. Although I want to see this play out like this, it doesn't have to. I also have it marked up short here at the top, right? So it's actually not, it's not aligned with this setup here. It's more aligned with, you know, where I have this this pivot. So this all can be noise, and I could still be correct, but slightly off with more of, hey, come on, something like this, right? We'll come back up to this channel now from here, close out this gap, invert this candle, and start trading up a little bit higher. Now we're trading into the 618, 70% of this range, of this entire range, which I like, right? From here, I'd like to see a massive drop. So it can play, you know, it can play a couple of ways because we have a range available.
Like it's hard to 21,00003, right? That's what
up here.
Where you said that we can, yeah, right, yeah, right there,
21,000, yeah, 21,002 to 21,003. It's about a 100-point range I have marked out.
Yeah.
So you know that's kind of where I'm at. This is like a 2-year analysis. This is over half of Trump's term in office, right? But you know what I'm seeing here, Futures, and then I'll end on this note. It's the market repeating itself, right? So if I have this marked out here as a daily, and you'll see some comparisons here, right? If we start looking at the market here, now let me remove just the other one because I still have it on. Do I? No, it's off. Okay. So if you take a look at COVID, right? This is COVID. This was the 2021 pump. This was COVID, actual COVID. So there was a massive drop during COVID. And if you dissect this area, this circle on the 4-hour, I believe we still have the range popping up. So this is the 4-hour of this same area, right? It starts to look very comparable to what I'm about to show you on the daily. So when you have this reversal starting, right? You got the lows, you close above them, right? You got the lows, you close above them, and then you displace. First set, second set, after the close here. Once we displace here, this is your short. And this is a short that you're riding to the lows, right? To these lows here. Now, you move up in time frame, right? Because this is a 4-hour, because this was a fast move. So the algorithm here, it moved quickly. The whole thing happened in a 4-hour time frame. It never even gave you the full setup on the weekly. You go into the weekly here, and you have it looks different. It's just very small, a very sharp move down. Oh, I don't know what I just did, but whatever I did, I need to undo it. Can I undo it?
You sold it.
I cannot undo it. I hope not. Gosh, I'll say that. I may have. I opened up something here. I don't know what I did. Maybe I just moved my watch list. There it goes. Okay. I guess I just accidentally opened up my my watch list. It actually opened up a search bar, type something on my watch list. All right. Anyway. So now this right here was COVID, and then this was the massive pump during during COVID, right? So this was the beginning of COVID. So somehow the market tanked before shit hit the fan. And then we're suffering, we're dying during COVID. And we're pumping. The market is going from the absolute lowest 8,900 and we pumped all the way up to 18,000, almost 19,000. I think we hit 19,000.
We were at
Right? The high
8,000 back
was,
then.
yeah,
That
at the
was
low
the
of COVID.
numbers back then. No kidding. Eh?
Yep.
That's
So
a
so
blast from the
now
past.
so now what do we have? We've got the pump during COVID, and we've got 2021. What happens in 2021? Okay, I'll show you what happens. You've got a dump in COVID, right? And then you've got the high, right? But this is not the high. This is where it starts, right? Because this is the market structure shift, and then this is your drop. So you have your drop to the low. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how symmetrical? Do you see how equivalent the drop is from once you got the market structure shift, once you got the shift to here? So it's not a coincidence, right? And then more importantly, what we got to pay attention to now is how much bigger is the move that is happening today and how it correlates with the move that happened back in 22, in 21 when we dropped. The identical drop that we did during COVID, right? So now, if we look at the price action and we really, why I have it circled, and you really start analyzing, let me just remove all this noise for now. I've got not the brush. Brush is earlier brush. Yes, we can get rid of that up to here. Put them in a folder and hide them, right? So now we have 2021 and we have, look at the price action here, futures. And look at how it's almost replicated again with this current price action, right? So you got the pump up, you've got this drop down here. Believe it or not, that's this area here, I think. And then you get this manipulation here, which is this area here. Once we start pushing up, you start creating the swing high here, which is your swing high here. You got your equal lows, you got your equal lows. Okay? So it just starts making sense. It starts like, you know, you're like, wait, is this even real? Is this happening? And then you start dropping down in time frames and you start looking at what you're getting on the hourly time frames every time we get a reversal, right? So you look at those reversals as they happen in smaller moves, right? And it's the same thing. You get the same thing. And it drops down, right? To the equal lows, to the liquidity, the equal lows. So, look, maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt, right? Who knows? Maybe I'm seeing something that might actually play out. Maybe this is something that's not going to play out. Maybe we're going to get a pump from here, going to all-time highs, and nothing plays out the way it looks on the charts here, right? Because what you're seeing here is what I've put out here on the analysis that I did, right? This was extremely technical based on levels. So when I put this out, when I did this, I think I was sitting here doing this for like hours. I was sitting there like maybe a good 8 to 10 hours to come up with this.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how accurate it's going to be, but I'm going to play it. I'm working on looking at entries to follow my setup, and let's see how close we get. Now, these are not candles here, right? I drew these in. These are weekly candles that I'm anticipating to play out. Now, if you pay attention to the weekly candle here, why I'm expecting a full down candle, right? With a wick, maybe a small gap here. I want to see a fair value gap. I'm anticipating it to play out something like this candle here, closing below the lows here. And then the next candle dropping down, trading off of this bullish order block for a fake out, and then for the drop, right? So I'm looking for the same thing, very similar to happen here. So I'd like to see the bounce, the reaction happen off of this order block.
So
Right
when you perform an analysis like this, so then you come in the day, let's say tomorrow morning, you come in, you start your day, you have a bias?
I drive myself nuts. So
you have a preference for whether you're going to go short or long, or you're going with the flow? With the
it's
flow
not
of the
about
day.
going. So it has nothing to do with going with the flow. What did I just do?
Or you're
I
just
want to just
performing the same, since price is fractal, you're just performing the same analysis, but on a lower time frame.
So that's exactly what I'm doing. So this analysis here has no relevance to what I'm going to trade tomorrow and how I'm going to trade in my intraday trading. I feel like this is something that I might want to open up a small account, maybe a margin account. I don't know, something where I can put in a scalp position. Maybe, maybe when we pull back up, because I'm anticipating a pull up to this range. So when we pull back up to maybe like the 19.2s, 19.3s, maybe take a swing trade, 2 micros.
Yep.
Hold it to the lows, right? Targeting the weekly. First, we got these lows up here with the reaction, a lot of consolidating, right? According to what I'm thinking. But swing trade, I would probably be targeting this order block right here, which is where I have my exit. So I stopped exiting at the lows and I started targeting these as my exits. On all my trades. Doesn't matter what the time frame is, because I'm going to take the same exact model, the same exact setup on every single time frame. Now, we were talking about ICT before in the 2022 model, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his 2022 model, let me just hide all this noise here because I've got a lot of it. His 2022 model futures is something that I'm assuming your sons trade, right? They trade ICT, I think you mentioned, right? One of them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they both do. One is more, let's use the word into it, but I'm not sure if he uses the 2022 model or he just took the 22 model and then ran with it and made it his own and put his own small little spin and variations on it.
Okay.
Found his setups.
So I like a short here. So I like a potential short.
Yeah, I actually went short, but then I covered it just because we were right at the evening session lows, and too many times you just poke through those evening session lows and highs and it's like a fade trade, so for me it was a reason not to actually it was a reason not to enter my trade.
So here's what I'm looking at, since we're chopping down time frame now, right? How I'm looking to trade intraday, even current price action, right? So what I'm going to look for is, and this is what makes it tricky, especially when we have this going on, right? Because this is looking like a consolidation on a higher time frame. Hourly is probably going to be highs, lows, closing below lows, closing above highs right here. I mean, this is a little tricky because we're probably consolidating a little bit, but we also could just be dropping for a second stage. But 5-minute time frame, right? Why I'm more inclined to take let me see, because I haven't really analyzed thoroughly yet. I'm not super excited because this low here, the high of this low, I mean, maybe here. So closed above here. So a close below in a minute 22 on the 5-minute. If we can close below this liquidity, then maybe I'll start feeling a little bit more bearish. But for now, I'm just thinking this is retracement to go up. I do like the close below here. So I do like the close below these levels, right? With this candle on the 5-minute. And I do like that we're currently also playing out a 15-minute with a potential market structure shift. The only thing that I don't like is, remember, in order for me to turn this into a market structure shift, I need to look at the high that comes with the low. And the high that comes with this low are one of two highs. It's either this one or this one. So if we don't get a close above and then come down to this place below this, I'm not interested. Now, right, it's not a market structure shift for me, at least not on the 15-minute. So the 15-minute, if anything now, is going to give us a new low. But we're playing off of a bullish breaker.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's the 15-minute you're on, there.
Now I'm on the 15, yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is, you have to, and it's critical. If you can align your time frames, if you can align your 15-minute to play out a model with your 5-minute, with your 3-minute, 1-minute, that's going to give you higher probability. So the way I believe the market works is if we have the 15-minute currently playing out a lower low, and it's not displacing, it's not closing below, you see, or did we? We did. We actually did close below this swing low. So we closed below the swing low. However, we never closed above the high of those lows, as I mentioned before, in order for this to be valid. So for the 15-minute, I believe we're making a lower low, and we're going to go into a lower time frame now, and we're going to see what part of the model is the 15-minute, is the 5-minute playing. So for me, the 5-minute already gave us our liquidity at the top, right? We swept liquidity. We created these lows, as we mentioned, and we closed above them. Okay, so we closed above this one, closed above this one, and we displaced below both of them. So 5-minute potential market structure shift, I'm interested in a short. Now, I don't think we're going to stop here for the short because now we're playing the 5-minute. 2022 entry happens here. So what we're looking for, this is the ICT entry. The sweep, the swing lows, the displacement, the retracement into the optimal trade entry so that you can take the short. So now this, when I said I saw a good short, this was a good short, right? This was a great short on the 5-minute from here to target the lows. So you don't need to target much more than these lows right here. And this is a safe target for this trade. That's 100 points. It's 100 points during the Asia session, right? Futures.
Yeah.
Am I really looking to hold it here, looking at the 5-minute setup? Not yet. All we really need is a lower low than this. And if you look at the line graph, we have that, right? You eliminate the wicks. These are all displacement, and we've got a lower low without any, with no wicks. And we get a close below, equal lows right here. So we're starting to form bearish market structure, in my opinion. Okay? Now, from the bearish market structure that we're starting to form, and I'm sorry I'm taking over, just please jump in if you want me to shut up.
That's fine. And actually what I like about ICT, and I like looking at it because your targets are so much larger than mine. And that is a phenomenal thing. That, I mean, for me, that right there gives you a good edge. That right there, as long as your stops are within.
That's if it plays out, right? That's if it plays out. That's the reality, and you have to take time into consideration, right? So what does time do for us, futures? I'll tell you what I've learned with time over the short period that I've been doing this, right? With time, you get the volume. Time allows the algorithm the ability to move to a specific target a lot faster. And when it gets to its target, it's satisfied, right, with the amount of stops that are sitting there. So it's already, because we have the time of day, opening of the market, 9:30, the volume is super high. So it's not that you have a volatile market. It's that you have an algorithm in a market that everyone is trading. So it has resting liquidity at levels that it can get to a lot quicker and satisfy its urge, let's call it. So once that's met, when you're trading in the morning session, or you're trading London session, right, during the kill zones, there's volume. So with the volume, the algorithm simply moves quicker. What happens with the news? There's volume. We may not trade the news, but do you know who trades the news? Institutional players are going to trade the news. They're putting their trades in there. There's going to be stop losses. There's going to be, there's going to be huge positions that are trading during those times. And there's a lot of volume usually when they're dropping these news events. So the algorithm during the news event, with enough stop orders sitting at these levels, is going to make a massive move. How many times you see, news candles that everyone's waiting for something crazy to happen, but it's a dud. There's just simply not enough stop orders sitting there for the algorithm to take off. And next thing you know, the news is a dud, but then you've got this crazy candle that pops up 30, 40 minutes after the news. That's all it is. It's just there was enough liquidity there for the algorithm to get to that level. So what am I looking for intraday, right? Let's just skip into that really quick, because that's the important thing, right? Because we're not trading hourlies, we're not trading dailies. When we come to levels, we want to take the trades, but we want to see the setup come in here. So for ICT's 2022 model, we've got the short. We've got a beautiful short that comes in right here. This is the ICT entry.
You are
so it comes in
the
on
1 minute, right?
I'm on the 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
So you get it on the 608 candle, right? I think it would be the 608 my time Eastern.
Okay, yep.
You got a beautiful short entry after the displacement, after we displace down through these lows here, right? This is a relevant swing low, right? Closing above the high of it here. And it's the lowest point. So this is extremely relevant. Once we trade back into this bearish breaker, a bearish breaker is an order block, right? It's the last down candle here, that swing low.
Mm-hmm.
The last down candle here, the swing low. After you have a high, so I think in this case it would be a high, a low, a higher high, and then a lower low. So we turned this into a bearish breaker. Okay, and it reacts off of it. So now this is ICT setup. What is he targeting with his setup? The lows right here. And we're done. You're already out of the position with this trade. Yeah. You're targeting the lows, the equal lows that are sitting right here. It's a great trade. Now my trade is a retest of you take out the liquidity, which came in right here. So you take out ICT's 2022 model. And once you sweep that liquidity, you have a trade. Oh, look at that. Right into target. You have a trade that goes almost twice the size of ICT's 2022 model. So this is ICT's 2022 model right here.
Got you.
Exit. And then this is mine.
That was a lot of points also, eh? You're talking from 19,395. That's a 70-point move.
And as I mentioned, this is my exit, right? I marked this out for a reason because this is where I exit out of the trade. Now, I don't necessarily think that we're going to just straight drop, right? Because we're in a buy program. Now, I do have these lower targets, right? I do have this level that I would like to see retested. But we also have to remember, this is where we broke structure. This is where we shifted into a long position after this big drop, right? There was this consolidation, you had the manipulation down, and then you come up and you break structure. But what's critical is, even on the 1 minute, looking at it on the 1 minute, it's where we broke structure, right? We broke structure here, and we have to remember, we have the high, right, where we shifted, and we have the low, and we close below the low of the high that's made. So now, since we close below this swing point, if we close above this level, that's a valid market structure shift. And this is the long. This is your long entry for that market structure shift. And you're targeting some highs. I don't think I would be targeting all the way up there with that trade. I would have been a little bit lower. No, I would have been targeting up there because the market shift happened right here. So it's a balanced price range. You're targeting these highs right here. So, this is something that I'm still working on, right? Because what I've noticed with my entry, it tends to take out the high. The only time that you're safe is when you have this, but it doesn't mean that it can't come back up and retest. So I don't necessarily know that we're going to come for the red yet. We might start pulling back up one more time. That's why this is my exit, the order block, this high. And this is a potential unicorn long. So this is where we shifted structure. This was the initial 2022 entry, right? The ICT entry. So I have to shift bias and still maintain a long bias until we start closing below here. If we close below this area, now I'm going to start looking for a pullback roughly around this range to take it lower. Until then, what I'm looking for is a reaction off of this breaker to now potentially go long. Anywhere from this range to this range. Right? Now, none of these are really breakers to me, so I don't really like these lower ones. Why? Because as I mentioned, we never closed below them. So we've got swing highs that we displaced above, but we never closed below any of these swing lows. So it's not valid for me. None of these would be valid. But what is valid is over here. And this is where the higher time frame comes into play, futures.
Yeah.
Right? Higher time frame now, same exact market structure shift, right, that we're getting here. Right? Now look what it looks like. So this is that same market structure shift, and we're now coming in for the first entry. So I think we can potentially come a little lower. What I'm looking to trade off of typically is this candle here. This is where I enter. Now, this is a 15-minute trade. I may potentially take this long with 1 micro on this account. It's an eval. And I might, when we get off and we shut down the stream, I might hold this into the, not into the open, but just targeting the highs here, right? A nice little 300, 250 point trade. And that's going to trade right off of this. Now, it doesn't have to come to my level. It can trade right off of here. Why? Because we have this level here that we already closed below, right? So now all of these swing points, the second we closed above with this candle, because we closed below the lows, all of these equal highs, turn that blue, this candle close above, that's my confirmation, right? So with this candle and the pullback, I'm in. Stops at the lows, right? Higher time frame, and you can target way higher levels, right? Now, we haven't even come into the first entry off of the 15-minute here at this level on the official displacement. Now, why is this a phenomenal displacement? Because look what we got here. We got a swing high. And look what we have here, a swing low. And look what we did with this candle. We closed below it. So now all of these highs, the second we displace, this is an even higher time frame confirmation. This is a launch pad. And in my opinion, we're going to be ripping for some highs right now that are going to be beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful trade. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. I think I'm pretty on point with this analysis. But we'll see. We'll see how it reacts. I'm going to shut up now. That's enough of my 20 minute rambling on
I just want to ask, for me, I want to ask though one question. So let's say you're going to take a long in that area. It's not blue. You didn't mark it off in blue, but I assume you're talking in
I meant to mark it off in blue. I apologize.
Yeah, in that rectangle there. So you're setting your stop down below the swing low that formed, let's say, in the US session earlier today. What's that? That's a large stop though. That's 300 points, no?
That's about that would be a 120 point stop down here.
Okay. And would you find
so I'm not gonna just jump into the trade, right?
Well,
So
would you find if you drill it down onto a 5 minute or a 1 minute, and sometimes I hear you even using the second charts, can you take an entry
15 second?
Yeah, can you take
Absolutely.
an entry with the same large targets, but maybe swing the bat a few times and have a really tight stop, and let's say hit the ball on the third try or the second try?
Well, that's exactly it. That's
then you're
you just hit it on
killing
the
it.
button.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that you hit it on the button. So, but what I'm doing now instead is I'm now, because we're looking at a 15-minute model, and look at the reaction that we got just on the 15-minute, right? It doesn't even have to be anything else. Just this reaction alone off of this bullish breaker, that gave you 30 points, 30 plus points with, I'm talking like instantly, and they say the bears jump out the window, the bulls take the stairs, right? I mean, look, this is a perfect example of where the, just going to the 1 minute, where these guys are running up the stairs right here. You know what I mean? So look, I may not be correct. I'm working on fine tuning this. I do trade going up in time frames rather than going down in many cases. I do go down to fine tune my entry, but I go up to get my confirmations. So as I was mentioning before, this was the second entry, potentially first entry higher time frame, right? So 5 minute, this is our 2022 right here, right at the top, right at this breaker. It still lines up with that lower time frame entry, right? Which came in much cleaner on the 1 minute. You see that? And the 1 minute gave you an entry here, and this is the retest, which came all the way to the lows here, right off the breaker. Now, if we're looking for how we're going to enter to take this up and where are we going to take it up, we got to use the Fibonacci levels, right? And we got to understand, where did we shift structure? It's right here, right? So now this is my right shoulder, and this is potentially the retest of the right shoulder. Do I want to see maybe a trade off of this order block? I would, for me, because this is what I'd like to trade and what I patiently like to wait for. I'd love to see us get into this level 5 minute. You're going to see it darker blue. So every time you see it getting darker and darker, futures on my screen, what that is a lower time frame, same exact level. I'm lining up the same exact order block that I want to trade off of, where my market structure shift happened, right? Where I got my confirmation. So in this case, it would be this low, this high here, this displacement, this entry, this order block. I'm not targeting lower than this. So these are higher time frames. So now, because we're playing higher time frame, we could potentially get down lower.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, futures. My brother's getting out of here. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Take over on the chat. We're probably going to be shutting down in a few minutes anyway. I'm sorry that I rambled, but I'll be right back.
No, that's good. That's good. That was a thorough analysis. And you know what? Context is king. That's probably one of my weaknesses, I would say, is I'm very technically oriented, but contextually, I probably don't perform enough.
I apologize for that, guys.
Yeah, I was just saying that that's probably one of my weaknesses. Contextually, I don't perform enough of a thorough analysis on the higher time frames. Like I said, I'm so focused on such short-term moves, short-term scalps.
But then I also get analysis paralysis. You ever heard of that one?
I could see how that would happen. I could see how that would happen.
I'm over here. I'm so in depth on my analysis. I'm so in depth on calling and looking for my levels. It gets to my levels, and then I don't take the damn trade, and I'm like, shoot.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay attention more closely though, actually, because I like the way you break down the market structure, and I think I could potentially try to incorporate that into my trading, because I do find, like I said, that's one of my weaknesses that I'm entering. I won't say I'm not over trading, because the way I'm gathering my stats, though, all those trades are valid setups. However, with that being said, if I were to start applying filters that are more contextually based, the way you're breaking down, well, I don't know if I would go into the weekly and the dailies, but certainly the hourlies and the 15 minutes. It probably would help me get into stronger trades and higher probability trades. Maybe, even if I can increase the edge by 20-30%, that would be a huge difference.
Look, you also need to go with what works, right? So, I have a computer programming background. When I jumped into trading, I started looking at the charts, not knowing anything, not really understanding anything. But over just a small amount of time, I started picking up on the computer program side of it, right? The fact that everything with this system is it's a big loop. It's an if-then. It's a bunch of if-thens.
Mm-hmm.
There's just running through a program. And if we can identify, right? Like if, for example, and I'll break it down just on my setup with these if-then statements, right? So if we have a liquidity sweep, okay? If we have a liquidity sweep on sell side, for example, and then we create a high, and then we come back down for manipulation and we close below that low that took the liquidity, right? So if we sweep liquidity, then we create a swing high. Okay,
Mhm.
we now create a new variable. We have created variable A. If we displace through the low, right, which
Mhm.
is now the low of variable A, now we just created variable B. So now if we get B, and if this price action continues to do the same thing, right, you have a low of B and a high, and then you get a lower low again. Now you got a new variable created. It's a bunch of if-thens that tie into a bigger if-then, right? And if you look at we're looking at a 5-minute, and if you shift this over to the 30-minute, and you look at the same exact area that you're looking at on the 5-minute, you're gonna see a singular thing, right? A singular low with a high, perhaps, with a singular displacement below it. So we got this level here, the red line on the 30-minute. We don't have anything above it. Therefore, our liquidity is sitting much higher. We start pushing up, we're going to be pushing up to this fair value gap right here, sitting at 19.8, right? Those are big plays on the higher time frame moves. But basically, from a computer programmer's perspective, if this happens, then that happens. And if you get a bunch of ifs that happen, then this happens, right? So if we close below, then we close above, right? With the 2 p.m. candle here on the 30-minute. Then we create a market structure shift. Now, does that mean that it's just going to go straight up? No, it's telling us that it's potentially confirming in this range that it might give us some higher targets. But overall, higher time frame, in order to get a higher time frame market structure shift, we got to start closing above 20,000, 50 area. So, it's tricky. I'm sometimes, like I said, that analysis paralysis is real because.
But it gives you targets. It gives you, look, no one's going to be 100% accurate. Not you, not ICT. No one's going to be 100% accurate. But what it does is it gives you a target that you feel comfortable trying to reach for and to frame a trade around. And it's a logical target because it's based on a thorough analysis of price action. And basically, price action is king. Context is king, and price action is king. That is what you got to be using to decide which direction you want to take your trades in.
Definitely. And ICT is not the first one to say, oh, you get a candle close below a swing low or a wick. Now you're getting bearish price action. The traders have been using that forever, right? Yep. And that's why I don't have a bias to the types of traders that are out there, right? I think that you can see success in many different, styles of trading.
There's 1,000
call it
ways
whatever.
There's 1,000 ways to make money.
Call it whatever, you know. The only thing that I disagree with, and I'm not going to knock the people that believe, news moves the market, and the people that believe that, Trump's tweets, are catalysts for. I think that's a bunch of nonsense personally, but I don't knock people for having that bias and that perspective, right?
Well, it does create short-term volatility. So for me, from my style of trading, a Trump tweet or a news event, what it does is it just creates opportunity. And I'll tell you why it creates opportunity. It's because when I get an entry, the likelihood of follow-through, of continuation, is greater than if we were just trading, where the average range of the 1-minute candles is only 5 points. It's hard to get continuation. Like if I look at my trading over here at the charts, the way I'm trading, we got the largest continuation move I got was 21 points off an entry. I got 21 point continuation, and I got 3 trades that were 14 points after the entry. And I don't know if you noticed, I pretty much exited them at break even. I think the last 2 or 3 trades I took, just because, you know, the markets, I can't say the markets are slow, but because I have a 10-point range right now on the 1-minute candles, and usually in the evening session when it's quiet, we could be looking at 5 points or 3 points. But
Yeah.
going back to what you're saying about news or a Trump tweet, that's what it gives me. It gives me continuation. It gives me an opportunity to get a 20 or 30 point move in a minute or 2 minutes, as opposed to the evening session when I got to wait 45 minutes for that move.
It's just volume futures, right? It's just that you get more volume during certain times. If you notice, all right, pay attention, pay a little closer attention to what time the volatility happens, right? Because even here, even at you know, on the slow markets, what I look for to take trades are the macros, are the hourly macros. What I mean by that is the last 15 minutes of the hourly candle. The last 15 and the first 15 minutes of your hourly candle, those are your macros. And notice what we got here. We got a nice little V shape, bounced right off of my order block, right? So an immediate rebalance on a higher time frame, 1 minute or 3 minutes, probably one candle, yup, singular candle. Immediate rebalance of this price action. Now, for me, this is trading off of a level that I want to take the trade. Are we necessarily done going down? My range is large. Remember, it's a 15-minute trade, and the low that I would like to get tapped in is anywhere between the 222 area, maybe 263 area, maybe even because here we've got the market structure shift off of this high, swing, the low. This is a 15-minute. I would actually not be surprised if we came down here. Mark that out as well. So I want to take a long, especially after this confirmation. The question is, where do we take the long? And what I'm going to look for, futures, is this exact setup, because you see how we're looking at the 15-minute right now? Do you see how we've got the highs, the manipulation, the manipulation down, the displacement, and the entry? I want to see it start all over again. So you see how we're consolidating here? We're kind of choppy. We're playing around. It's because we're slow markets, right? What you're going to notice on slow markets is, let's go down to the 1 minute. You're going to notice the up and down a little bit more. And that's just the algorithm generating more liquidity. It has a range that it can trade within, right? And right now, the algorithm's range is all the way from 19,300 down to maybe even a little lower, maybe even 1960. It's a big range, right? We're talking about a 300-point range here. And that's what you were talking about before when you said, wow, you would enter here and put your stop all the way down at the 300 points? Not really. We don't want to do that.
No.
So what we're looking for, no way. What we're looking for is the same exact setup that we just saw on the 15-minute, right? Right here. We want this to be our first entry on the 15-minute now. We want this to play off of this, right? Maybe come up at least to the highs. Nice target would be the 450 area. And then what we want to do is we want to go down to the 1 minute, and let's see, do we get an entry off of this level? And what are we looking for, futures? The same deal, right? We're looking for the 1 minute. We're not going to look at all this in the back. We want to see some of this newer price action. So we want to see a swing high, closes below, right? Closes below. Now, until we see what? What are we looking for now in order to see a market structure shift after we've closed below these swing highs?
I don't know.
Come on. We're looking for a close above.
I was uncertain. I don't know how to put my.
But once we get the 1 minute displacement above these levels now, at the level that we're now looking to trade off of, then we look for the pullback into these now bullish breakers, right? Why are they bullish breakers? Because you got a low, you got a high. You got a low, a high. You got a low, a high. Lower lows, right? Every time you got lower lows. So you got a low, a high, lower low. A low, a high, lower low. A low, a high, lower low. The second we make a higher high, all of these turn into what ICT would call a bullish breaker. That's what we want to trade off of. So when we trade back into these bullish breakers, that's our launch pad.
And you have
And that's our
I was
sorry?
gonna say, would you have a preference looking for an entry? Because I hear sometimes you're on the, let's say, the second charts. Would you find maybe do you find that you're getting chopped up a little bit more on the
I get
15
chopped up on the lower time
on the
frames. Yes, 15
seconds
second.
and
Yep.
like maybe just stick to the 1 minute or
There you go. You just said it, futures. So what I like to do is I like to see the setup come in on the 15 and the 5, and then I like to go to the 1 minute to look for my entry. When I get the entry, I'll even fine tune it to the 15 second at that point, right? Because 15 second can give you a lot of fake outs,
Yeah, I was thinking that actually.
So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
So here's what we're gonna do tomorrow. tomorrow, tomorrow when you get a setup on the 1 minute, you're gonna do this for me.
I gotta take it. I'm gonna do it.
No, you're gonna hit the horn. You're gonna hit the horn to get my attention.
We're gonna do it when we have the setup tomorrow. Today was kind of one of it was a feeler. I rambled a little. I don't really want to do that. I did want to use, I guess, a good way to use this first stream to just kind of go over my setup in detail. Now that I can explain it, believe it or not, I've never been able to explain it until now on my even on my streams. Right, this is probably the best analysis and the best explanation I've ever been able to give on my setup on any of the streams that I've put out there.
Okay. Yeah, because like I was saying, I was thinking maybe even it would be a way for me to learn and apply context to the trades that I take, because it certainly it can hurt to have a higher time frame analysis going on, and that's
here's that confirmation. Here's that confirmation, futures.
Yeah,
we're getting it. We're potentially getting it. Next close above, I'm actually gonna do it while we're still here. I've got my account up. We're looking for this 1 minute entry here. It came off of my order block exactly where. But remember, critical. We need a gap, right? So after the displacement, we want to see a gap here. We want to see price action. Want to keep moving. We don't want to see it coming back here, right? Now that we got this displacement here, what we're looking for is this entry right here. So we're going to wait. We want to get a close above, even a little higher. We're not in a rush. But this is our initial displacement right here, right? The low.
Yeah.
We've got the low and we've got the high, right?
What I like about people are going to think I'm crazy, but what I like about it, the fact is, I look at my charts and you convert to bullish kind of around the same time that I do. We just do it in different ways, completely different ways. But okay, not on the algo. My algo flip-flops quickly, but on the
just with your bias, with what you're
on my
looking
other
for.
charts, yeah, we kind of flip at the same time. We kind of have the same directional bias quite often. I won't say all the time. There are times that we're going in different directions, but quite often we catch the same direction. Like right now, I'd be not yet. It's still a little bit early, but with a little bit more confirmation, I'd be switching to a long side bias.
Sure. And this is this is where the channels also come into play, futures, right? You start breaking through, breaking above. That's where breakout traders trade. But go ahead, you were going to say.
I was just going to say, again, it just depends on what, again, your time frame is and how long you're looking to hold. My hold time is very short. My hold time isn't it isn't the way you would base it on a target. It really is just based on points. So my average hold time,
I target
probably under
liquidity.
a minute or 2 minutes. Certainly under 2 minutes. My hold times, they're very, very short. But yet
I'm typically targeting liquidity. Like I like to target levels. It's not about points. It's more, for me, it's more about once the confirmation is in, I want to sit there and I want to hold it to a specific level. And over time, I feel like I'll be able to hold better. hold on to positions longer.
Mm.
But the scalps are great too, right? And what I wanted to do today, and I just I never came around to it. I want to try to take the model on the 5-second, right?
Oh my
For
God.
scalps.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to, so you see it. You'll see the whole entire setup come in the 5-second time frame, and it comes in quickly, right? You still get it. You get boom, displacement here, entry, come up, and you take it up to the highs, right? So these are shorter trades. You're taking 297 to 310, 320, but it comes in on repeat. It loops over and over and over and over and over, buy side to sell side to buy side. So I'm going to practice, and that's what I want to try to do. We'll still look for the setups the way we just, my setup on a higher time frame and try to take good trades. But I want to try to focus a little bit also on the lower time frame and taking scalps.
Yeah.
And working on an account that way, seeing how that works out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the next time we stream, we'll we'll do a little more tradertainment, take a few more trades.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Today was a good day for theory, discussion of the two different approaches that we have. I think we'll wrap it up though now. It's 9:21.
Yes, we went a little bit above. Absolutely.
That, yeah?
And you ended the green, right? I'm looking at your stream here. You did well here. 166 in the green on an eval.
I probably could have done a lot better if I didn't again trade chicken, but
hey, listen, I could have taken the trade right now from 283 where we were discussing and exited at the highs here at 330, right? A nice 50, 60 point trade, easy.
Yeah.
Calling it on stream. It doesn't matter though. That's okay. It's, you know what? It's about identifying these levels, identifying our trades, and over time, we're going to hit them. We're going to hit them a lot more.
Yeah. Well,
but I'll end on that note. Let's not keep rambling on that.
You got it. We'll talk tomorrow in the morning.
Everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. That's going to be my exit. Yeah. Much love, everyone.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys, on our AM streams, and then hopefully again in the PM session.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll see when the next time we hook up. And let me disconnect here. Let me end the broadcast.
Same here. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, futures.
Good night.